Chris, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Oh, good to hear you again. How are you?
Yeah, good on you, man.
I'm doing great. So I'm recording this already. Hopefully we won't get any technical issues. If we do, we might have to switch to a backup plan. All right, so I wanted to get you back on the call here because you're probably one of the few people, if not the only person, that I've talked to who said that he's navigating this coronavirus situation without a problem. So I wanted to get you back on a call so that you can actually share with us and our audience, give us some tips on how to do. So you own a small digital agency, and we actually have a lot of customers here at 10 Scores that have been losing clients, and that's been a problem that you don't have. Mm-hmm. How are you doing that?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing that's important is to break the misconception that Google ads or any PPC advertising for that matter is reserved for the bottom of the funnel marketing. A lot of people feel that PPC is purely a bottom of the funnel decision-making type of activity, when actually it's not. I mean, you can use PPC advertising very successfully, as top of the funnel awareness generating stuff, and even middle of the funnel email list building type of activities, So I think that's the first thing. So, and that's a mindset that needs to change on the agency side as well as the client side.
Okay.
And I think agencies push this thing that, oh no, you've got to get leads and sales, so you've got to use Google ads.
Yes.
And that's the problem, is that and then clients think the same way. They go, oh well, okay, well this is the only way we can get leads and sales is through this, and PPC is the only way to do that type of thing, or rather PPC is only suited for this bottom of the funnel type of stuff. So I think that's the first thing, right?
So how do you get to change the mindset for it's one thing to have the mindset, but how do you do that for your clients?
So, the thing is we give them real world examples. So and I'll get into, the exact examples and stuff that we use, but I think that really is, how we sort of convince them that it's not, is that we show them examples of campaigns we have run where we've created awareness and that for clients, where we've built email lists through PPC that have been cheaper than if people were to go buy email lists. You can generate emails from PPC, at 30, 40 cents an email, whereas if you go buy a list, it's a lot more,
Do you have an example you can share with us? I would like to learn more about that, actually.
Yeah, so we ran a campaign for a pool owner. So he runs a pool cleaning and maintenance type of business, right?
Okay.
And he was struggling to, he was using PPC to sort of drive sales and leads and all of these things. And then we sort of, we're big into the inbound marketing methodology, right? So we're very big into creating valuable content that, attracts people and all of those things. And we created some ebooks for him on simple things, how to keep your pool clean, after rain, and things that pool owners struggle with. And we created some of these ebooks and we advertised them on his social profiles. And it wasn't, we had sold him this sort of big inbound marketing funnel thing. Like, he's going to create these ebooks and people are going to sign up and they're going to build these email lists. And to our dismay, it didn't quite go that way because the organic traffic that was going to his site wasn't sufficient. So, we had this beautifully set up funnel, but what we were lacking was really traffic generating strategies to get people to the site to complete this thing. So anyway, long story short, we started to run a Facebook campaign and we targeted, pool owners and that on Facebook, just purely with one of his ebooks. And it was a lead gen campaign. So someone just clicked on the advert. It popped up a form in Facebook. They filled out the form, and then we used Zapier to integrate that with his CRM system, which is ActiveCampaign. And it put people into a little thing there, and then he started building. And we really started generating email addresses for him of his target audience. And now this is important to remember. But we started generating email addresses of his target audience for around 5 Rand an email address, right? Which is about 40 US cents, somewhere around there, which is ridiculously cheap. Because if you go buy an email list, you can buy a general email list of like 2,000, 3,000 people or as many as you want. And it might cost you, slightly less than that per email address to buy that list, but you're not getting your actual target market. Yes. I mean, the chances that someone owns a pool in that list is slim to none. So we were generating real sort of pool owners, his target market at 5 Rand or 40 cents.
So 5 Rand, that's the South African currency, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just so that
you're looking at about 30, 40 US cents.
I'm taking notes, man. We might have to make another call where we go into specifics, because if I could get like 50 cents per email subscriber, that would be awesome.
That's okay. I mean, that's exactly it. And these are like, as I say, these are people who own pools, so they aren't just general things. So we built up his email list from, he maybe had like, 80, 90 people on his CRM system that he wasn't even using. And within a couple of weeks, we had over 800 email addresses that we had built up for him.
Yes.
And that's really where the success story sort of ends, because then, we try to follow it up with him and do email campaigns and all of that stuff. And he sort of lost interest because, that's a more long-term type of thing. Email marketing is a volume game, and it's a long-term game. And a lot of business owners aren't willing to play that game. So we sort of lost him after that. But the success in that story is that we were able to use PPC. Okay, this was Facebook ads specifically, but we were able to use PPC to drive middle of the funnel activities and even top of the funnel activities. And when we tell clients about that, then they're like, okay, then they start realizing, okay, and then they start seeing and making up examples in their own mind. And I think that is the first thing we normally do with our clients. We just break that conception and say, listen.
Is that something you do at the beginning when you get a contract with the client, to set to let them know what you guys are about, how you think about, or can you also you get somebody who's already doing some PPC, let's say some Google ads, and then you maybe tell them, hey, I can see what you're doing there. You're going for the bottom of the funnel, but here's a way that you can actually improve your results by targeting. Is that something that you do as well?
So again, the thing is, it's in a perfect world. So to answer your first question, it is part of our sales pitch from the start. We do that. Our methodology is very much an inbound sales funnel based type of thing. We're very focused on that. We understand that users exist at any given time in a certain space in a funnel. Yes. And depending on where they are is how you've got to reach them. And it determines what tools you use and the language and all those things. And in a perfect world, you could use PPC at all 3 stages, or in your case, use the disco model. You could use it at all 5 stages of the funnel successfully, just tweaking your things. And you use an example on that blog post you wrote about the sous vide cooking, where you can advertise the actual model, the ANOVA model, which is right at the bottom of the funnel. But then there's still, study and comparison and all these other things that you can create landing pages for. You can create a sous vide recipe landing page on your website.
Yes.
And that's a very top of the funnel type of thing to drive people to that blog article or that a page. And it might not result in direct sales. Yes. But it's putting people into the top of your funnel who could either now, contact you or buy your product or whatever the case is. So in a perfect world, you can apply that methodology to every single business. You can take every business and look at them from each stage of the funnel and say, cool, at the bottom of the funnel, what's our language? What are we trying to achieve? Middle of the funnel, what are we trying to achieve? And then, as I said, there's multiple tools that you can use at each stage of the funnel to drive traffic and all these things. And PPC is one of them.
Yes.
If you wanted to, and if every client had,
Yes, please.
Karen? So I was just saying that if you had the budget, and this is where what I was trying to get to earlier is that our clients especially don't have the budget to be running PPC for all three stages. And I think a lot of smaller agencies, their clients don't either have the budget. So that is why you always end up running ads for only the bottom of the funnel, because bottom of the funnel is low-hanging fruit. It's easy. It's, so that's where you want to spend the money to move the needle. And then if you've got budget, then you start doing stuff for the middle of the funnel and the top of the funnel. But the problem is, and this is what we found, is when the bottom of the funnel is working so well, clients don't want to spend money on the top or the middle of the funnel.
Oh, they
just want to put more money into, they want to put more money into the bottom. So, that's the thing. But now with this whole COVID-19 thing, we're saying, hey, bottom of the funnel is out of the question, really, because people aren't buying for a lot of a lot of services, a lot of businesses. People aren't buying. So you've got to now change your strategy. And I've even written this up a little bit for you, so I can even send it to you. But
yes, please.
So the way I see it in terms of you asked the question of how are you retaining clients who are pausing services?
Yes.
So the first thing we did was to break this misconception and show clients that, hey, listen, PPC is you can use it for any stage of the funnel. The next thing I think is, first we've given all of our clients a reality check. We said to them, hey, listen, it's not going to be the same as before because of X, Y, and Z. People aren't buying, whatever. However, there is opportunity, and we've had to apply some strategic thinking for each one of our clients to determine what the opportunity is for them. So for the agency owners that are reading this or listening, I believe that all businesses and industries at this point in time fall into two categories.
Yes.
One is the category of businesses that are completely affected by COVID-19.
Okay.
So they cannot trade, they cannot provide services. They are completely sort of tied to a chair in that sense, right? And those type of businesses are generally speaking what they call the beach stocks. And beach stands for bookings, entertainments, airlines, casinos, cruises, holidays, hospitality. So any sort of industry that's related to that, you are really directly affected by COVID, and your whole strategy has to change.
That's easy to remember. The beach.
Yeah, beach. Yeah, I didn't make that up, by the way. I found that on a website.
All right.
So the other category is those who are somewhat affected, because I did make a third category who I said those who are not affected, but I think this thing really affects everyone really. Yes. So I think there's the second category is those are somewhat affected, and those are the people who can still run businesses and still trade and service their clients. Either they've been doing it online for their whole lives. So if you look at affiliate marketers or whatever, they'll just carry on.
Yes.
But for other businesses, so let's call them fitness studios, walk-in shops, those type of guys, they're affected by COVID because obviously people aren't coming to their premises and doing those things, but they can take their business online.
How?
So we've identified, that's another example is we're helping a Pilates studio, and she's actually one of my good friends.
Okay.
She came to us for a barbecue about a week ago. Not that we're supposed to be seeing each other, but anyway, that's another story. So she came over and she told me about this, and she's just moved into this really large new premises and fancy office, and now she's shut down. So she was basically in tears, going man, I've invested all this money. So I said, well, why don't you move it online? Why don't you offer Pilates classes online through Zoom? You sell a certain amount of spots that people have to buy, because her clients still want to do these classes, and Pilates, yoga, fitness, a lot of coaching type of stuff can still be done online. Okay,
so they're there. The clients are there. They just can't go to the studio or whatever.
That type of thing.
Okay.
And so now we're helping her set up this sort of online platform.
Okay.
We're adding some e-commerce to her site. We're allowing people a booking system. There's a membership system. So we're helping her do that. And from a PPC perspective, what we've done is we've modified all of the Google Ads copy around her new offer, which is this online Pilates class. So we've really customized the ad copy to be more specific around COVID-19 and, do Pilates online and, stay at home and do Pilates. And then also we've created a campaign very specifically that focuses on top of the funnel type of searches, which is things like home Pilates exercises and how to do Pilates at home and those type of searches. And now they're going to be hit with a Google ad that's saying, hey, you can do Pilates from home, have a look here, read up here. So that's a way that we took a business that was somewhat affected and we built a strategy for them so that they can still continue to trade and do business online. So for the agency owners that are going to read this, that we've had to apply some of the strategic thinking to that account specifically. And they're going to have to do the same. They're going to have to say, like, is my client a beach business, which is this, bookings, entertainment, airlines, casinos, cruise, hospitalities? Are they related to that industry? And are they, can we somehow continue their business to go on? And, this isn't a silver bullet. Not every business will be able to continue. So they might have to put things on pause. Especially if a client is hell-bent on driving new sales and using PPC to drive new sales.
Yes.
And now you're trying to tell them, hey, listen, instead use PPC to drive organic traffic or to drive awareness. They might not be that keen to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's really interesting. So can you give me so let's say this whole thing started and you have, because we have a lot of, I've been talking to agencies and they say, hey, Chris, my clients have decided to really step aside. So you that's how you get into the conversation, or your current clients, they tell you we want to stop. Yeah. You tell them, hey, if you stop now, you preempted it. Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah. So what we did when this thing sort of happened, at least when it was announced in South Africa, right? Because I think it's different in every country.
Yes.
So when our president announced it in South Africa, which was 2 weeks ago, then he sort of came on the air and said, hey, listen, we're in a national state of disaster.
Yes.
And then a week later he announced, a week later was this Monday that's just passed. Then he announced the lockdown, right?
Okay.
So after he announced the state of disaster, then I sort of saw the lockdown coming. So I told my team, I said, hey, listen, guys, contact all your clients and find out what they're going to be doing if we go into a lockdown in terms of their advertising. Are they going to continue and all of that? And a lot of our clients did say, no, they want to pause the ads and all of that. Those guys that sort of said, no, we're happy to carry on, they sort of saw the benefits of being able to carry on, so that was fine. And then the clients that did respond negatively, we had to contact them and just say, hey, listen, we need to keep going with what we're doing. We need to pivot our strategy slightly, but we need to keep going, and here are the reasonings. And, I think this leads on to that sort of second question you asked me, which was for those clients that are out there, what should they do with their current ads? Like you've got Google ads running, like what the hell now?
Yes.
And the tactics that we've used, right, is for the businesses that are somewhat affected, so they can still go online and adapt. Okay. I think the first thing there is you need to acknowledge that your clicks are going to drop, guaranteed. I think
clicks are going to drop.
Traffic, I think so. I think paid traffic is going to take a dip. But conversely, I think organic traffic's going to rise because
organic traffic's going to rise.
I think the more people that are staying at home means more internet traffic, more internet usage. People are going to be consuming a lot more digital media. They're going to be consuming less traditional media.
Yes.
So less flyers, less billboards, less street pole ads, less radio ads. They're going to be consuming less of that, and they're going to be doing more digital media. So it is going to go up. I think the next thing then is you need to pivot your products and services to suit the times.
Yes.
So if you can offer an online service, move it online, you need to do that. Then update your ad copy to be relevant to the times. And I think that's very important now, because if you look at your Maslow hierarchy of needs and stuff, people are worried about
read my
very
stuff.
different things. Yeah. And it hits all the points. And, people, what matters to people now is very different to what mattered to people a month ago. Your needs and that have changed. So your ad copy has to speak to those, to those needs, right?
Yes. And I think, so if I may just add one little quick tip here is that, as advertisers are pulling off their ads, this is a great time to get really good cost per clicks and actually build an audience for the rest. Mm-hmm.
This is the thing. People don't see that. People just see the bad side. They go, oh man, no one's going to buy. But what they don't see is all of your competitors are thinking exactly the same. They're all going to pause their ads. So there is opportunity. I watched it was like a seminar thing with Bob Proctor, who's one of these sort of like gurus and whatever. And he
is he the guy? Is he the guy who did The Secret or something?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 100%. So one of his things, or one of the things he talks about is marketing in bad times, or because a lot of people look at the economy and they go, "Oh man, the economy's down." But during the Great Depression and all of these recessions we've had, there's been business owners that have made millions from bad times because they haven't bought into the negative media and they've looked at the opportunities. So there are opportunities. So as you said here, there's going to be less people competing on your keywords.
Exactly.
But you can't be pushing the same message as you have been in the last. You have to change your message. You have to update your services slightly. And it's not everyone can do it. We understand that. But there are ways, And, then once you've done that, I think you also need to look at, as a business owner, automating your customer acquisition strategies, creating more custom forms or more bespoke custom forms on your website, using your CRM system, your marketing automation systems, using those, creating automations, getting online bookings, get an app like Bookly or, what's that other one? There's another one as well where people can book directly for your services, like online.
Yes. Start
automating that stuff and making it easy for people sitting at home on their laptops or their phones to get hold of your services. And then the last thing, my last piece of advice for those businesses who are only somewhat affected by this is use online tools to streamline your sales strategy. Okay. So again, qualify customers through. So I think, a lot of, especially in South Africa, the sales process is quite traditional. So you generate leads through your website, you get a name and a number, you pick up the phone, you phone that person, you have a conversation.
Yes.
Or generally you go out and see the person. People in South Africa love meetings. So they would go see a customer, go to their offices and that. You can't do that now. So you're going to have to do more Zoom calls, Skype calls. But it's also about, doing things like pre-qualifying sales prospects through online forms and that type of stuff. So, and this really, doesn't really relate necessarily to PPC and all of these things, but, it really will help these businesses who have to start working remotely and dealing with customers remotely. And especially if you're going to continue advertising through PPC, you've got to have those systems in place so that when you start getting these customers going through, you've automated as much as possible. And then finally for the businesses that are completely affected, so the guys who feel that their hands are tied and they can't do much, I think, as we've spoken about, number one is they need to change their ad strategy. They need to accept that bottom of the funnel is not going to work for them stuff. They're not going to generate leads or sales anymore, but there is still opportunity in middle of the funnel and top of the funnel. So they can still do things like generate email subscribers and all of those things. So they can look at topics and this is a tough one because it does require extra services or extra, work, but they need to look at topics where they can really add value or create valuable content for their audience. And then they can start promoting those blog articles through Google Ads. So yes, you're not going to generate, your CPA or your cost per acquisition is going to go through the roof, but you are at least, generating some traffic to your site and taking advantage of all these people that are sort of browsing at home. And then the next thing is create valuable content. So create content that people would want to download. and people would, and that's how you're going to start building. I see this as a prime time now for these businesses to build their email lists. And South Africa especially is so far behind on
marketing.
I mean, we're like 10 years behind marketing in the rest of the world. I think there's like maybe 1% of the marketing population, so the people who are doing marketing in this country, there's 1% of people who are actually implementing, ahead of the curve type of strategies. And email marketing is a huge thing overseas, in the States, in the UK, Australia. I mean, I must get at least 20, 30 emails a day from all of these people that I sign up to. So
me too.
And Robert Kiyosaki and, Amit Singhal. I'm getting an email every day from these guys. And, you sit with South African business owners and you go, cool, we got to do an email campaign. And they're hesitant to send their people an email once a week, let alone once a day. Like, they don't want to do it. They're like, no, we don't want to annoy our people. So email marketing is still something we've got to get into here, but it's a prime opportunity to start building email lists, because if the people in your market, your target audience, aren't buying, they're still researching, they're still studying, they're still comparing, they're just not buying. So they're doing everything else in your funnel, but they're just not ready to pull the trigger yet. So rather build up this sort of like database of hungry to buy customers, so that when COVID does, the thing, and it does end, so to speak, and we start returning back to normal, then you've got this sort of huge database of hungry to buy customers that are ready to now spend money with you.
So what would you tell to the person who's on the fence of actually going into building an email list and start doing email marketing? I mean, I know that a lot of us are okay with it, but I used to live in Belgium and helping some of my friends, and every time I talked about email marketing, it was like, hey, nobody reads emails. This doesn't work. I never open. Everything goes to the promotion tab and never look at it. What do you tell that person who's on the fence?
I would tell them that email marketing is the most effective marketing methodology out there at the moment today, and there's stats to prove that.
Okay.
In terms of conversion rates and cost per conversions and all of those things, email marketing is still the best way to market. But that being said, it's a volume game. You're not going to have a successful email marketing strategy with 100 subscribers.
Yes.
With 10,000 subscribers, you're going to have a successful.
That's a different story there.
Strategy. You know why? It's because it's been, they've, all these guys that do all of these email marketing, and Robert Kiyosaki, Amit Singhal, who's that other guy? There's so many. It's all mathematics. They know their conversion rates. They know that if they send an email out to their database, it converts at this percentage. It's maths for them. So they spend their entire day just tweaking their systems to try and get that conversion rate up or down. But they know, man, if I send an email out to my subscriber list of 100,000, 200,000 subscribers, I will generate this much revenue. It's there for them. And that's why the email marketing thing is a volume game, because you've got to get those numbers, and you've also got to spend the time getting those numbers. And this is why business owners don't pull the trigger on email marketing, because they don't have the patience. They don't see the value in spending a year or 2 years or 3 years even building up a profitable email marketing database.
Yeah,
so
and
for any guy on the fence that's thinking, why shouldn't I do this? Yeah, the proof is out there. I mean, you can, every single one of these guys that sell these online courses or on marketing or whatever, they are able to do all of this stuff through email marketing. Running. So the thing is, right, and I read a book so there's a guy in Australia, his name is Sabri Subi, and he owns an agency in Australia, and I like, he's a bit like hardcore, confident, brash, like in your face Australian type of guy, but his marketing strategies are so effective. And one of his core principles, right, is this, he calls it the larger market formula.
What is that?
Chris?
Yeah, have you lost me? Oh,
sorry, I lost you there. Sorry,
okay.
Sorry, the large. Yeah, well, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Yeah, the larger.
So the larger market formula.
Mm-hmm.
So really, what that says, and I can send you an image as well. I mean, if you Google
yes,
it, you should be able to find it. But so really, what that says is that if you were to look at your entire target market, right, all 10 of them or 100,000 of them, right, approximately 3 to 10% of that market are at the bottom of the funnel. So they're looking to buy right now.
Yes.
So they've got the means, the money, the know-how, and they're ready to spend, right?
And it's only 3%.
Yeah, it's only 3%. It's it's sometimes a little bit more, sometimes it's a little less. Then the other 97%, if we were to be extreme, the other 97% of people are still, they're still in your target market. They're just not in that 3%. So they're still in your funnel. They're in the awareness phase. They're still researching. They're still studying. They're still comparing. There's all of those people. And yes, there will be a percentage that aren't interested at all because they may have just bought a service such as yours or something like that. But for the rest of the people, they're still in your buying cycle somewhere, whether they're comparing, researching and stuff. So they haven't made a buying decision just yet. And the number one mistake that business owners make, hands down, especially in South Africa, is they only focus on that 3%.
Yes.
They only want to run Google ads. They only want to find the people that are buying. They don't want to spend the time or the money building up an audience or building their sales funnels to target those other 97% of people, which includes things like running a good email marketing strategy, creating content, social media, distributing content, organic SEO, like it's all these things. And they don't see the value in that because there's, it's not as tangible. The results aren't as tangible as a PPC campaign, because a PPC campaign is we put in some money today and tomorrow you're seeing leads and sales coming out.
Exactly. So if I can actually expand a bit on the concept here of building an audience, and we have, when you're doing advertising on whether it's Google or Facebook, there is that tracking code that actually builds an audience list for you that you can actually retarget afterwards. The remarketing campaigns are a big thing, and people who don't do, sometimes you don't want to build an email list. It's okay. You still have that. You have other means of building an audience, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, dude, you've hit the nail on the head there. So even if you don't want to download emails, you can still, on Facebook and on Google, you can create these audiences of people that have visited your site, have read blog articles, have taken certain actions on your site. So, I mean, the analytics goes, it's how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go. Like some guys will only create an audience if the prospect has read 3 or more blog articles, because they've gone and looked at the analytics on their site and realized that the people most likely to convert have browsed 3 or more pages on their site before converting. So then they're like, okay, well, let's just create an audience of those people and then target them with LinkedIn ads, with Facebook ads, with all these things.
That's something I need to do better.
Same here. It's like we know all these things, but we struggle to implement
Exactly.
But that's the thing. So I mean, those are the kind of things. So you can still use PPC and all of that to reach those goals and to do all of those things. And I think that the main thing is that what we've learned, especially, and I suppose everyone sort of knows this, maybe it's common knowledge, but there isn't a silver bullet.
Yes.
Google Ads it's an awesome tool. It's an awesome tool and it serves a purpose, definitely, but it's not the only thing. You have to marry Google Ads with a content strategy, with an SEO strategy. You have to marry all those things, because I think a lot of businesses now are learning this the hard way, because now they've built entire marketing and sales strategies around Google Ads or LinkedIn ads or whatever, which is predominantly a bottom of the funnel exercise. And now they're suffering because they're like, man, no one's buying, so our Google ads aren't working.
Yeah.
So they want to cut the Google ads. And they want to cut the Google ads. And you're like, okay, well, the problem is the way that you're looking at Google Ads is that it's not just, it can serve so many other purposes.
Yes, it's the mindset, thinking about it in a different way and knowing that there is a full funnel there. You don't have to focus on the bottom only. So let me ask you a question. So let's say I'm an agency owner and I have already lost a few of my clients. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. How if you are in my place, how would you do to go and actually try and get those clients back? I mean, you've talked about giving examples, but how would you do it yourself exactly? Like if you actually have a real world example, that would be great. So how would you actually get the conversation started?
Well, look, for us, we didn't really have a sort of sales process or anything specifically. For us, it was just a phone call and a conversation. That's how it really started for us. It's hard to create a sort of funnel process or something for this kind of situation, right?
Yes.
Because it's so we had to have real conversations with our clients, and we really had to sort of understand their needs. And look, we haven't got that many PPC clients, compared to a lot of other digital agencies, right? But I would say that out of our clients, we've managed to retain 80% of them.
Okay.
And I think that's still a good figure. We've managed to retain in some way, we've been able to retain. We offer a lot of other services for these guys. So it's only very few of our clients that are purely on PPC with us. Like for a lot of other guys, we're doing some social for them. We're doing content. We're doing, web stuff. So we've been lucky enough to say, okay, well, maybe let's pause the ads for you guys over here, but then let's ramp up the content over there. So from a revenue perspective, we haven't taken that much of a hit because we've been able to rely on other sort of services to sort of balance it.
So why don't you tell me more about the service that you offer, and maybe actually tell our audience where they can find you if somebody needs some help, with all the good ideas that you've given us and all the examples. How can what do you guys offer, and how can they reach out to you?
So they can. I'm sure you'll have all of our contact details.
Sure.
They can go to launchdigital.agency. That's our website address, and they can contact me directly at chris@launchdigital.agency. And essentially, we're a full service digital agency. So we offer everything from branding and design. So that's, general graphic design, website design, right through to PPC and SEO. So we sort of look at the whole spectrum, because we believe that successful marketing strategies are not built on one channel alone. So we look at, that's why a lot of our clients are spread across a few of our services. Because we try and encourage that from the start, that if you're running PPC, cool, that's good, but you need to still be producing content, Yes. And if you're only doing content, you still need to be getting some of that low-hanging fruit of PPC.
I've been getting a lot of, some of our clients, they tell me, hey, Chris, you haven't written on the blog for a long time. What's up? What are you doing? I should be doing all the things you'll be talking about. I should be doing that myself. Yeah. And maybe this is the time to actually get into it.
I hear you. Like, the thing is, it is the time now. I sort of made a pact to myself that at the start of March, I'd try to write a blog article a day. And,
wow.
I failed miserably, but I've written 6 blog articles. And had I not set that challenge, I would have not written any blog articles.
Yes, 6 is better than 0.
Yeah, exactly. And look, only one of them was really like an authority piece. The rest was sort of like SEO fluff.
Yes.
But the point is that we need to start practicing what we preach in terms of content. And it's a case of the shoemaker's children not having shoes. It's so easy to do this. You're so busy doing this for the rest of your clients that you can't do it yourself. All
right, this is great.
Yeah.
Yes. I got you off there.
So I've uploaded that in the chat. You'll see I've uploaded.
Yes, I can see it. Larger market formula. I put everything in the blog, the blog post, and probably I'm going to spend some time rewriting all the tips that you're giving us here. What would actually be great to do is maybe have a case study, a real world case study. Maybe we might talk about that later on, where we can really give an example of somebody who actually took their business online and is able to continue generating revenue.
Yeah.
That might be something that would be good. And maybe if somebody's got a question to ask, they may put it in the comments, and then you probably be there also answering with me.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't think we've covered everything. I think we could have gone on for more and more, but probably with the feedback that we're going to receive, then we might have more content and more audio calls to actually share with the audience. All right. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks very much for the opportunity. Yeah, I hope it was informative. And yeah, look, if you want to do more calls or do that,
I think we will.
More than happy to.
I think we will. All right.